Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we continue to build decks around the new legendary creatures from Bloomborough. Based on multiple requests from previous videos, today we're making a deck led by Bria, Riptide Rogue. I tried to keep the deck budget, but as of recording we're at about $106. A big part of that is that Bria is worth about $20. So once the starter kit that she's printed in comes back in stock, I'm sure she'll be a much more reasonable price. Anyway, be sure to like and comment on this video, and subscribe if you're not already. Bria Riptide Rogue is a 4-mana 3/3 legendary otter rogue with prowess, who also gives other creatures we control prowess, even if they already have prowess. For those who don't know, prowess is a keyword that makes creatures with it gain +1/+1 until end of turn, for every time we cast a non-creature spell. Additionally, whenever we cast a non-creature spell, target creature we control can't be blocked this turn. So, not only do we make all of our creatures bigger, we also make one of them unblockable every time we cast a spell. It doesn't have to be an instant or sorcery, but I wanted to stick with cantrips for this deck. I also wanted to run a bunch of gutter snipe type cards, but we ran out of room. We only have 100 cards in the deck after all. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. Years before this channel was sponsored by Ultimate Guard, they were always my #1 choice when it comes to sleeves or deck boxes. Pick up Ultimate Guard products at your local game store, or order them on Amazon. Link down below. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. By the way, I'm taking a break from streaming for a bit while I get a couple of projects handled, but I do intend to keep streaming in the future. So if you'd like to come hang out and chat, make sure you subscribe to either my Twitch channel or my other YouTube channel, Musings by Danon. For lands, we're running Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Sulphur Falls, Volatile Fjord, Molten Tributary, Ferris Lake, Cascade Bluffs, Shivan Reef, Frostboil Snarl, Temple of Epiphany, Silverbluff Bridge, Is It Guildgate, Is It Boilerworks, Scavenger Grounds, 9 Islands, and 9 Mountains. Nice and budget-friendly. For mana ramp, we've got Stormcatch Mentor, Goblin Electromancer, Stormkiln Artist, Runaway Steamkin, Seething Song, Mana Geyser, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Is It Signet, Felwar Stone, Sky Diamond, Fire Diamond, and Solemn Simulacrum. Our card advantage package consists of Thieving Otter, Thundertrap Trainer, Archmage Emeritus, Dreadhorde Arcanist, Niv-Mizzet Parun, Teferi's Ageless Insight, Past in Flames, and Mizzix Mastery. A good mix of traditional card advantage and graveyard recursion. But our deck wants to cast a ton of cantrips, so to help with that we've also got Expedite, Crash Through, Consider, Warlord's Fury, Opt, Serum Visions, Leap, Preordain, Ponder, Frantic Search, Peak, Quicken, Fists of Flame, Thought Scour, Expressive Iteration, Pearl of Wisdom, Haze of Rage, and Overmaster. Remember, if we have any one of Niv-Mizzet Parun, Teferi's Ageless Insight, or Archmage Emeritus, our cantrips go off and we draw a ton of cards. So you'll probably want one of those 3 in your opening hands if possible. To interact with our opponents, we're running Snap, Counterspell, Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, Lightning Bolt, Chaos Warp, Abrade, Negate, and Commit Memory. Not a ton of cards like in a traditional control deck, but enough to keep the game going. To reset the board, we're running Blasphemous Act and Aetherize. If you're not on a budget, you can swap out Aetherize for Cyclonic Rift, but with so many of our otters still fairly expensive, there was no way I was going to fit that in a budget deck. The core of our deck consists of Storm Splitter, Frolicking Familiar, Valley Floodcaller, Kitsa Otterball Elite, Alanya Divergent Storm, Tempest Angler, Ral Crackling Wit, Jaya Fiery Negotiator, Balmor Battle Mage Captain, Veyron Voice of Duality, Young Pyromancer, Third Path Iconoclast, Talran Sky Summoner, Murmuring Mystic, and Harmonic Prodigy. Supporting our plan, we also have Coruscation Mage and Kindlespark Duo. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 46 mana sources, split between 32 lands and 14 pieces of ramp. Very light, I know, but it's fine. 8 pieces of card advantage plus 18 cantrips. Remember, you can cut 1 land for 2 cantrips, but you want your cantrips to serve a double purpose other than just replacing lands. 9 pieces of interaction, 2 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Scavenger Grounds and Commit Memory, 1 sudden I win card in Haze of Rage. Okay, I mentioned earlier about wanting cantrips in a deck that plays a double role. If you're playing a deck that creates tokens like Talrand, or a Storm deck where you want to up your Storm count, or maybe a deck that wins using 1000-Year Storm, cantrips trigger those effects. So all of a sudden, Opt doesn't just draw you a card, it also creates a 2/2 Drake token. And in this deck, Opt pumps our entire team. Now, from personal experience as well as discussing this with other Magic players, running a ton of cantrips means you don't need to run as many lands. When you're drawing 5 or 6 cards a turn, that third island you drew doesn't do you a lot of good, especially since you've already played a land this turn that you drew 2 or 3 turns ago. So, cutting back on your lands is fine, but only in a deck that doesn't have ways to play extra lands consistently. If you're building a deck like this in Temur and have Azusa Lost but Seeking and similar effects, you'll want to stick with 36 or 37 lands. But even that goes back to the point of dual-purpose synergy. If your deck just wants to draw cards so that you can find big creatures to smash your opponents with, run Card Draw. A card like Wheel of Misfortune or Windfall would better suit your deck, because it draws you more cards. But in a deck like this, where every spell we cast has an added effect, we want to run the smaller 1 or 2 mana value spells. Obviously, this is not the only way to build Bria Riptide Rogue, but after yesterday's deck, I wanted something a bit simpler and more casual friendly. How are you building her? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Sean, Mark, Borgie, Nazwin, Midge, Alex, Conga, Aaron, Chris, Robert, Austin, William Pye, Turner, Triz, Kazaris, and Slack. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.